consultant, physician for older people and stroke medicine. I worked at the local university hospital in Birmingham and have been a specialist there since 1977. I qualified in 1968 from Oxford and University College in London, and there have been massive changes in the English Health Service in that time. The Health Service was set up in 1948 by Beveridge, when the speciality of geriatric medicine, medicine of older people, was created, when it was realised by a physician in London that many older people with rehabilitation could be discharged. To me, the uniqueness of the British Health Service is in being universal, giving health care to all citizens without any restriction through a national insurance scheme which is paid for by people who are in work. And this provides the majority of health care. There is a small private system, but there is no tradition of fee for service within the National Health Service. The National Health Service, by the name, is run from central government in London and works in parallel for services like older people, maternity and such like, with local authorities. Local authorities are the government of local areas. So Birmingham is the largest local authority in the United Kingdom, which run things like social care services, education services, transport, and of course all of these things are important for health. Britain at the moment is in a process of reorganisation where public health moves from health to local authorities, where it used to be. So the main merit of the British system is acute care is accessible, very good, and anyone, say, who's knocked over in the street or develops a severe illness like a heart attack at home will get the best care available in the nearest centre to them, and can be from more rural, from more country areas. They can be brought in by helicopter if necessary. And we have an air ambulance service as well as a road ambulance service. Most people who come in as emergencies go through the accident and emergency system. Everybody else will traditionally go through the general practice, the primary care system, and everyone is on a general practitioner list. So unlike, say, Australia, where you can walk in to any primary care doctor, in Britain we belong to a practice, and that practice keeps our records. And we, if unwell, we would go to a named doctor who's looked after us, sometimes for the whole of our lives. And we have to register with such a practice. And they act as the filter, the gatekeepers to hospital services for things which are not emergencies. The big difficulty of the UK system is that this can lead to long waiting lists for non-emergency conditions. So, for instance, some health providers have suspended their hip surgery at the moment because they haven't got the cash to pay for doing the operations. And there are some things like, especially non-Western medicine, which are very difficult to get on the health service. There is some acupuncture, but otherwise, say, herbal medicine and so on is not available through the normal health service insurance. Many English doctors would say that's good because some of those traditional medicines have not been proven in full-scale double-blind randomised trials. And it took in China 20,000 people to prove aspirin worked to prevent stroke. So of course some of these trials are very large. So I think I'm going to give an example of what happened to me as a description of what can happen. I'll take, first of all, I was found to have high blood pressure. So for that I go and see my general practitioner or his nurse once or twice a year to get a check to see if the blood pressure is controlled. But I also have a machine to measure myself, and that's becoming quite popular. So for diabetes, which I don't have, many people now do their measurements at home, and increasingly we're seeing diabetics on pumps rather than multiple injections. And we have a very big both hospital and primary care diabetic service. So for routine medicine, one always goes to the general practitioner. Now, one night I was sitting in a hotel in Manchester where I was supervising a court case when the blood flow in my left leg stopped. So I was taken by ambulance to the nearest casualty, nearest accident and emergency, and I was transferred from there by emergency transport to the blood vessel, the vascular unit, where I had emergency surgery that night. And luckily in the end saved my leg, but I was in hospital for 3 weeks, having skin grafts and various other treatments, all of this without charge. And at the end of those 3 weeks, an ambulance was provided for me to go back to Birmingham, to my hometown, and then I had follow-up rehabilitation in Birmingham from physiotherapy. So